In just hours, hundreds of thousands of people are expected to attend the Army's 250th anniversary parade in Washington, D.C. Who will be involved, how to watch, and what viewers can expect. Meanwhile, critics of the Trump administration have their own demonstrations planned all across the country, including right here in Colorado, how law enforcement are planning to keep protesters and communities safe. And Denver Public Schools has made a really big decision about which schools can be shut down in the face of declining enrollment numbers. Taking a live look outside right now over downtown, looking gorgeous out there. Cannot wait for just a beautiful day ahead. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Lauren Scafidi. Always love to spend part of your Saturday with you. Let's send things on over to Weather Impact Team meteorologist Carly Cassidy. Carly, I wasn't here last weekend. I was back home celebrating my birthday, and I had FOMO, fear of missing out over what was happening here last weekend. So it's good to be back, and it's good to have you back.
Yes, I was saying earlier this morning too when we talked about it. Last time I was here in the graphics, we had avalanche warning. We were tracking snow. Completely different story for this weekend, right? We're talking our first 90-degree day, and then we've got a couple more even after it. Blue skies, beautiful start for this morning, and all that sunshine, that's going to warm things up pretty quick. We're already in the low to mid 60s, 66 degrees here at the studio, and then here we go. Just continue to climb. Here comes the heat. By lunchtime, already into the upper 80s, and then here for this afternoon, 93 degrees, what we're talking about. Again, first 90-degree day of the year here in Denver. And then for the evening, going back down into the low 80s. So everybody is feeling the heat for today, for this weekend, all the way across the state. You see the 90s to the east, 90s to the west, almost 100 degrees in Grand Junction, 70s, 80s in the high country. Plenty of sunshine. Definitely get outside and enjoy the summer heat, but also be careful. Take the right precautions, lots of water, lots of sunscreen. Take those breaks, especially in the peak of the heat from 11 o'clock until 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Also for tomorrow, of course, Father's Day. There we go, just a touch even warmer. You see that pink, 94 across the metro, 101 along the western slope. Now the heat also continues as we go into our upcoming week. Through Monday, we're talking the 90s. We also have that isolated storm chance and a little bit of some severe potential. 10%, keep all those outdoor plans, but we'll time things out. Talk more about that risk coming up in a few minutes.
Carly, thank you so much. Breaking news this morning, 2 Minnesota state lawmakers and their spouses have been shot by someone impersonating a police officer. Law enforcement is searching for the suspect this morning. Those lawmakers are Democratic State Senator John Hoffman and Democratic House Representative Melissa Hortman. This is a developing story, and of course, we will update you as soon as we learn more. Governor Tim Walz says he has activated the State Emergency Operations Center and that more information will be shared soon. Today is Flag Day. The Second Continental Congress adopted the first U.S. national flag on this date in 1777. The design of our current American flag has stayed the same since 1960. Today also marks the 250th anniversary of the creation of the United States Army. This is a live look over our nation's capital, which is getting ready for a celebration and a parade. Heavy machinery like tanks and Black Hawks have been arriving for days now. The display will feature 150 Army vehicles, more than 60 aircraft, and 7,000 soldiers. The event also falls on President Trump's 79th birthday.
We're coming together to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States Army with a grand parade, a military parade.
With possible protests, security is set to be tight with miles of fencing and barricades going up around the city. The cost of the parade has been a source of controversy, an estimated $45 million. By the way, the celebration comes as the U.S. Army hits its annual recruitment goal 4 months early. 61,000 new soldiers have signed up since the start of the fiscal year. That's more than the total numbers for all of 2024. Meanwhile, opponents of the Trump administration are preparing for protests today. That includes multiple communities here in Colorado. They're branded as No Kings. Organizers say they're meant to take a stand against what they call the authoritarian actions of the Trump administration. Denver police say they will not call on any federal law enforcement agency to help with these protests. They say some of their uniforms may have different colors, so you may see an officer who's not in that typical navy blue. It doesn't necessarily mean they're from a different agency. They also say they'll have marked and unmarked patrol cars there. The protests will extend well beyond Denver. People in smaller Colorado communities plan to demonstrate today as well. Organizers have listed nearly 50 Colorado locations on their website. You can see them right there on your screen. So that includes Parker. The city of Parker asked protesters to go to one of their other locations, though, saying they're already stretched really thin by their annual big event, Parker Days. 9 News spoke with the protest organizer there about her decision to carry on as planned.
I feel like I'm doing the right thing, and even though I'm scared out of my wits sometimes, I'm going to go through with it because I can't disappoint them again.
The town says it's disappointed, but that police have significantly increased staffing levels for today in response. As anti-deportation demonstrations enter their second week in Los Angeles, around 200 active-duty Marines are guarding federal property and personnel. The federal government says Marines will be equipped with crowd control gear, but they will not be performing law enforcement duties. A citywide curfew from 8 p.m. until 6 a.m. will last through the weekend. Officials say it's played a key role to helping restore order. The Trump administration will no longer focus its mass deportations campaign on the agriculture and hospitality industries. That's according to the New York Times. The paper reports a senior ICE official sent new guidance to regional ICE leaders. It says investigations are okay if they involve human trafficking, money laundering, and drug smuggling, but agents should not arrest people who are in the country without authorization if they have not committed a crime. President Donald Trump signed an executive order clearing the way for a partnership between U.S. Steel and Japanese steelmaker Nippon Steel. The order comes as the two steelmakers announced they entered into a national security agreement with the U.S. government. According to a joint statement, the companies say the agreement includes a so-called golden share that could give the U.S. government special say in how the partnership is run. It also includes $11 billion in investment commitments by 2028. The companies say they expect the partnership to be finalized soon. The deal had previously drawn bipartisan opposition. President Trump dropped his own opposition after taking office in January. The United Nations Security Council held a meeting on the state of Israel and Iran. The meeting was held after Iran accused the United States of being complicit in Israel's attack on the Islamic Republic, something Washington has already denied. Iran then launched a retaliatory strike on Israel late yesterday evening after Israel had attacked again earlier in the day. This morning, Israel's defense minister warned that, quote, Tehran will burn if Iran continues firing missiles on Israel. The continued fighting leaves the nuclear talks between the U.S. and Iran up in the air. The 6th round of negotiations was scheduled for tomorrow, but after Israeli strikes on the country, state media reports that Iran's foreign ministry spokesman called further nuclear talks with the United States meaningless.